Hey everyone, how's it going? It is time for another sketchbook update. I'm just gonna get right into it. This first page is kind of a doodle page, so I might be listening to or in a meeting or something like that, and I'm just doodling down some random stuff. A lot of times these are just to keep my hands occupied so I can pay attention. So that's what this page is. This drawing was a drawing I wasn't super happy with. When I did the initial illustration, I did it with this pen, and I like this pen a lot, but sometimes I get too rigid with this pen, and I noticed that when I use some of the bigger pens and get a little bit more free, I tend to like the drawings a bit more. The circle behind her comes all the way forward, so it's like right up against her as where it's supposed to be like a background image. Like some of those monster illustrations I did like in the last sketchbook update. So I was just kind of experimenting with this one. I wasn't very happy with the way it turned out. I was messing around with doing some like transparent helmet, stuff like that. But overall, even colors are terrible. This one's, it's a sketchbook drawing, so. These are some pencil illustrations, just sketching with a pencil. Again, these are kind of just doodles. This is a fun kind of page where it's kind of that same doodle thing. I didn't look at any reference. But I was a little bit more conscious of what I was doodling. So in each one of these, it's like Marvel superheroes kind of fighting. So this one, it's Spider-Man versus Venom, and he's like punching him. This is Hulk tearing Wolverine's arm off. This one was supposed to be Black Panther kicking Loki. Black Widow is like electrocuting Juggernaut. This is another little Black Widow sketch. Iron Man blowing like Ultron's head off. Captain America, this is like deflecting a laser blast and it's killing somebody. And then Doctor Strange bringing somebody from the dead. And Captain Marvel fighting, I don't know, Sentry or something. And then Thor with his hammer. So they were all just little drawings, not a ton of detail or anything like that, just capturing little moments, I think. And these are kind of fun to do every now and again. So that's a fun little page. So this is kind of my version of Inu Yasha, which me and my girls love this anime. We watched the entire seasons, or like all the episodes that are available on Netflix, and so they love it. So I thought I'd draw Inu Yasha. I've never drawn him before, which is funny because we're such a big fan of the anime. There's a lot of characters that my girls love, so I'll probably end up drawing a few of these guys maybe in the next coming sketchbooks I do. This is kind of just wasn't happy with the way this one turned out at all. I like the monster's face in there. I didn't, this is just drawing, all these are just drawn from my imagination. So one thing I noticed, I tend to make from the knee to the foot a little bit short sometimes on my characters. And this is, if you look at the proportions of this guy, they're terrible. So, every sketch, it's a sketchbook. You learn some stuff, hopefully, and like I can look at the things that I did wrong on this one and things I liked. I liked his face and the helmet. I feel like it's kind of in shadow, and I like this monster's the form of its head and kind of how it's moving through the shadows. Everything else you can just throw in the garbage, though. So this is a Raffaele sketch, and when I was drawing this, it's really easy to just draw the hand like with the side perpendicular or something like that. But I wanted it to be dynamic, and anytime I drew it, I did some other versions of his hands. I had the size a little bit easier to draw, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna draw it where they're coming out at you, which, that's a challenge for shortening blades or skinny things like that, because you really have to like break from what the object is and draw it in an abstract way, because obviously this is like a weird shape, but you have to understand that it's in a 2D flat format, it has to warp to look right if you want it coming out at you. So I felt like I did a fairly okay job on that. So, I mean, I feel like it's believable. As far as the overall sketch, I like how dynamic it is. I like the angle and how much movement he has where he's like coming out at you. The one thing I didn't like on this, with these things in the back, they were terrible. These are horrible. Ugh, I wish I'd have done them more like that. The page. So these were the brush pen video. I did a review of the brush pens I use, and each one of these is drawn with a different brush pen. You can check that video out if you're interested in these. These were a few more of those with the different brush pens. Like this one was that fine tip pen I showed you earlier, this one right here. This was some reference illustrations that I did. I was looking at a bunch of robots and concept art and stuff like that, and a lot of times you get stuck in a rut where you draw something the same way. You get used to drawing it a certain way, and you need to look at other things to add to your catalog of parts or whatever. Let's say parts that you use. So like some of these are like, this is just parts of a big old tractor that I was drawing. So this is kind of I liked her. I liked the things I didn't like on this, and I worked this thing because when I first drew it with pen and ink, again, I used that fine tip brush pen, and it just looked off. It was terrible. And one thing about the drawings in this particular sketchbook, I felt like I solved some problems because a few of these drawings I absolutely hated when I got to a point where it was like, this thing's looking terrible. I should stop. But then I kept working at it and solving some issues. One thing that I find, if I'm not liking a drawing, if I go dark and then go over it with like a jelly roller pen to add like details and stuff, different parts of him, with the jelly roll pen, that can save a drawing for me. So if you're feeling like maybe you need to give up on a drawing, and there's certain areas of it that you're just not happy with, what I've been doing is just blacking them out and then highlighting where light might be hitting with a jelly roller pen. And I feel like it's saved me quite a few times. So one other thing I wanted to show you guys, this was the sketch cover that I drew. How many of you guys saw this video? I uploaded this on Monday, and I don't know if you guys just aren't interested, because this was a watch me draw video, so I filmed the whole thing of me drawing this one, and I'm just curious what you guys thought of it, and if you even saw it. This is kind of a Star Wars drawing. The thing about this drawing is I really liked her. She was great, foreground illustration. And then I definitely got lazy with this monster in the background. And I could have spent a lot more time. I literally just started blobbing in a black ink spot behind her. I added 3 little light eyes, and yeah. So I feel like this could have been a great drawing. It's a okay drawing, if I had just not gotten lazy. Sometimes I do. I tend to get lazy with a drawing. Once I have the idea and everything in front of me, I have a tendency to either not finish the drawing, which I have gotten a lot better at that as I've gotten older, or speeding through parts of it that maybe I shouldn't have. So, but what I liked about this one, again, I used the gray markers, these ones right here, and then just a little bit of red for highlights. But I really liked her face. One thing about this drawing is I told my wife after I finished this one, I said, I need to work on hair. I need to just start referencing some hairstyles and stuff like that. I tend to do the same little swirls at the bottom every time. And same with the robot stuff, is I started noticing that I'll do certain things the same way every time, and I'm just in a comfort zone with certain things. Hair is one of those things. So in the next sketchbook tour, you guys will probably see me working on some hair references. Here's some concept illustrations. These I did with this little gray brush pen, which I actually like doing these little concepts with this gray. You can go in after you do the gray and do black, which is cool because you can do little kind of focus points where you might want a little bit more attention, like on eyes or in the face or something. And it'll be just a little bit darker than the gray you're using. So it's kind of or maybe weighted parts, you know, of the form. So it's, but these were nice, fresh, very confident sketches that I did. I really like this page. And I know a lot of people will look at this page and be like, what do you know, the drawings you've spent way more time on. But for me, when I see growth or I see a page where I feel like those are pretty good, this is a page that stands out to me out of all of them because there's some nice things happening here. Even though they're quick drawings, I solve problems fairly quickly. Proportions are pretty good. Expressions are great. And then the characters are kind of unique. And I might reference these in the future for characters that I want to spend a little bit more time on. So this was definitely a good page. This is a Poison Ivy, more goth version of kind of Poison Ivy. I just wanted to do kind of a simple head drawing. These ones are they take a lot less time than some of the more elaborate like character standing there poses. I don't think people realize that. But what I really wanted to challenge myself on with this one was, so she's biting her lip. And this is not an easy thing. Like if you just draw this with just black marker and stuff, it's hard to like get that effect because people need to see that the lip is stretching right here and it's flattening out onto her face. And then it kind of folds. So it's like this tube happening here. And so to get that effect, you know, that's a challenging thing for me. I didn't want to just draw a generic lip that I always draw because that's easy. Again, you know, with the sketchbook, it's like you're trying to challenge yourself, push yourself to do new things. I felt like it came across pretty successful. She looks kind of evil. There's definitely some things that I would do a little bit differently on this one, but overall it's a decent sketch. Again, you can see it in this one, the hair. I definitely need to do some hair work. I knew Art Germ, who's a great artist. He does like hair classes where he just teaches hair. So maybe one of these days I'll take a hair class from Art Germ or something. This is kind of a weird troll cyborg quick doodle sketch. I was real free with this one, just sketching stuff out. One thing I did on this one that's kind of cool is, so if I draw something like this and I want one side to be really like it's in the light, like it's real harsh light, I'll take the Jelly Roller pen and just go over some of my black lines on one side of the body, like that. And it gives you really like, you can still see it, it's still white over there, but it really gives you that strong light source. You can see me kind of just doing it like that. I really like these Jelly Roll pens for just kind of going back through. And I don't think I use these as much until I had messed with digital art for so long and realized what an advantage being able to subtract your work is. Like, instead of just always being additive with, you know, the colors you put down, the pen strokes, being subtractive is definitely a good thing to practice as well. So you can kind of see how much that, you know, changes the drawing. So anyway, I would definitely suggest if you're using pen and ink to be using the Jelly Roller pens as well. So that I think is the last sketch. Yep. So that's the last sketch. I actually don't have a lot of pages left in this sketchbook, just a few. In fact, I'll probably be on to a next sketchbook by the time you guys watch my next sketchbook tour video. So this is a 60-page sketchbook. So since I've started this thing, I mean, it has been a lot of illustrations, and I think I've only been working on it about a month or two. So been drawing a lot lately, which is great. But anyway, that's the video, guys. Thanks for watching, and yeah, if you haven't seen this video, check it out. Let me know what you guys think. I'm really curious what you guys thought of this one. I know you guys like the sketchbook tours, but you know, I'm looking to do some other types of videos occasionally, especially since I'm drawing so much. If you guys want to watch me actually draw, would you prefer real time versus time lapse? Those are just questions I have for you guys. So anyway, yeah, like I said, that's the video. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys later.